Hey y'all, I'm Dr. Aaliyah, and this is And I Should Care Because, the podcast where we talk about higher education changes, and I help you navigate those changes one news story at a time. So make sure that you check out the description box below to see a link to the story that we're talking about today and any other resources that might be helpful that relate to this topic. So let's get right into it. Recently, our President Biden, has pushed back student loan payments. I think this is like the fourth time that it's happened overall during the COVID pandemic, which means that if you're paying on federal student loans, you don't have to pay on those boys until September 1st. Now, if you're currently a student and you're like, okay, that's great, but how is this relevant to me? Guess what? Eventually, you're going to be paying on your loans too. And things that happen in the world affect your loan payments. Crazy, I know. So before we talk about repayment, we should talk about the loan types. Aside from just federal and private, there's actually different types of federal student loans. We ain't touching the private loans, okay? So if you go to a bank like Chase Bank, Citibank, whoever, ain't none of them people sponsors, okay? No sponsors. If you go to a bank and you apply for a student loan from them, that's private. However, if you fill out your FAFSA every year and you get, these loans from the government, those are federal student loans. And there's different types. And there's different terms with each type. So when you're signing on the dotted line and you're like, yep, and you're using your pen and everything else, it's like, yeah, baby, going to school, you're also creating debt for yourself and potentially someone else. We'll talk about that in a minute. So know what you're getting into when you get that letter that says that you have this much in this type of loans and this much in this type of loans for the next academic school year. Know what that means. Be smart. Understand what you will have to repay and when. So let's get into it. The first loan type we're going to talk about is direct subsidized loans. These loans are only for undergraduate students, and it's based on financial need. So when they ask you all those billion-D questions about your income and taxes and stuff from your parents or your guardians, whoever's taking care of you, I know it's a lot. I hated filling out the FAFSA, but that's the only way to get those direct subsidized loans. And the reason why this matters is because they don't accrue interest while you're in school. That matters because it's literally having to pay on a loan that you literally haven't started making payments yet. And the amount that you owe is greater than when you started school. You also get, if you're enrolled at least half-time as a student, you don't got to pay. You get a 6-month grace period. So let's say it's summertime. You're not enrolled in classes because you want to work or you want to chill or what have you. You're not going to have to start repaying those loans. But let's say that you're not registered for the fall semester. So you're out of school all summer and you're not in school in the fall. Well, once 6 months hits, they're going to be knocking on your door like, ma'am, sir, pay, please, thank you. So be aware of that. If you need to take a break from school for whatever reason, or you want to leave school, you're going to have to start paying back after 6 months. That's really important to know. Like, I can't even stress that enough. You have to know when you have to pay back and how much. Now, hopefully you leave school with a degree, you have an opportunity on the other side, and that will help you pay for school. If not, then you need to have a backup plan. And there are, things you can apply for, like forbearance or deferment when you have financial hardship. But you don't want to have to rely on those things. So get it together. The second type of loan, we've got direct unsubsidized loans. And these loans are for undergraduates as well as graduate students. So what that means is they're not based on financial need, number one. Number two, interest starts accruing once that loan is dispersed. What does dispersed mean? Money changes hands. So the money goes from the government to your school. And once that happens, the clock starts ticking and interest starts building. So let's say that for one particular school year, you got like $10,000, right? And your interest rate is like 2%. Well, you're going to be billed that interest rate over all the years that you're in school, not even making payments. And that's just for one academic year. Think about that. So it's going to add, $1,000 or whatever to the bill every however many years. So it's probably like 4 years that you have to pay back. And this is just top of the dome, not using a calculator. But if that happens every single year, then that's adding thousands of dollars to what you have to pay back before you even graduate. Not trying to discourage you from taking out these loans. The interest rate is usually better than what you would get with a private loan and everything else. But you need to understand that the money you're paying back is not going to be equal to the money that you had on your letters. It's going to be more than that. So you got to be ready. I'm telling you, you got to be ready. The third type, we've got direct plus loans. Now, if you're an undergrad, you can't take out this loan. This ain't for you. This is for your parent or your guardian. So they call it the parent plus loan. And your parents sign on the dotted line for that. And they start paying as soon as the loan is dispersed. So money exchanges hands and they have a payment due. Interest accrues while you're in school. So ain't no break. If somebody signed on the dotted line for you and they are paying on a parent plus loan, it means that they must love you or they must really want you out of the house, one of the two. So they're making payments of, a few $100s a month while you in school. Hey, so you better and get that degree. All right. Make that money worth somebody's while. If you're a grad or professional school student, then you can directly apply for this loan. And the conditions are a little bit different. It's more like the direct unsubsidized loan, where if you're enrolled at least half time as a student, you don't have to pay. There's a grace period of 6 months after you leave school, but interest still accrues. So you're building up that interest whether you like it or not. The final type of loan isn't really one that you apply for per se. It's a consolidation loan, a direct consolidation loan. So this takes all of those different federal student loans that you got over the years, because each year you fill out your FAFSA, you get a certain amount of unsubsidized loans and subsidized loans. We're not talking about the Parent Plus loan, okay? That's its own thing for undergraduates. So your parents been paying on that, or whoever has been paying on that if you were using those to get by. We're talking about the loans that you yourself are responsible for, that you signed on the dotted line for when you accepted financial aid. That's the thing that I think a lot of people don't realize. Accepting financial aid is signing on the line for a loan. So it's like going to the car dealership, saying, I want this car, and then you sign the paperwork to take out a loan to drive off the lot with the car. Same thing. You fill out that FAFSA, you sign with your PIN, your parent, guardian, whoever, grandmama, signs with their PIN. That is a loan application. It's not a survey or questionnaire. It's a loan application. And every time that you say yes to the dress, you are adding tens of thousands of dollars of debt to your name. Not to discourage you, but to empower you to know what you're doing and what you're signing up for. Consolidating your loans can be a good option, and it's definitely something you should look into. It's something that you should be thinking about your senior year of college. And you need to be thinking about it because, like I said at the beginning, the national economy and the global economy influence your loan payments. So depending on what's going on in the world, consolidation may or may not be a good idea. Don't ask me what the conditions are for would or would not. I am not a financial advisor, okay? But I know how to Google, and I've been there, all right? Student loans are real. You need to be prepared. As soon as you shake hands with whoever's giving that diploma, just bow, bow. Got it. Woo, throw the hat. Bills are due in 6 months. For real. Like, from that day that your degree is finalized and you are not enrolled in classes or anything, the federal government is sitting there like, yep. Trevor, you finna pay. 6 months, boy. You better have that payment ready. Nicole, I know you having fun. You trying not to, you trying to be nice out here with them shoes. I see you. I feel you. Better have that payment due. It's due. You better have it ready. It's that real. So having an opportunity on the other side of the degree is so important because you signed a contract that says you will pay. Please let that sink in. Don't let it discourage you. Let it motivate you to get all that you can out of the years that you're in college with no payments. So don't just go for the degree, go for the experiences and not party experiences, y'all. Yes, socialize, have fun, be safe, but you need hands-on experience. You need job experience. You need a network. You need allies. You need mentors. There's so many things that you need outside of the degree and just the classwork. And college can do that for you if you work it right. There's so many resources. So make sure that you take advantage of all of that because that's what you're paying for. It's like going to the dealership, getting a car, and you drive it, but you never use the radio, you never use the air conditioning, you never use the heat, you never adjust the seat. You just drive from point A to point B, and that's it. Don't do that with your degree. Don't just get in, get the degree, and get out. You better shake some hands, make some friends in some higher places and places that you want to be, so that when you get on the other side of that degree and that 6 months is up, you be like, all right, boom, I got it. Bop, bop, bop. There's your payment, government. Or maybe you want to do grad or professional school. That's cool too. But you still need a network. You still need allies and mentors to help get you there and for you to stay there. Because wouldn't that be a travesty? You get to whatever school, you start whatever program, and then you drop out because you don't have the support, because don't feel like you can do it, you're in over your head, which we all feel that way at some point. And then you have to make payments on something that you're not prepared to make payments for. So don't let that be you. Have plan A, have plan B, know what you're going to do. Let's summarize, because this was a lot of information. So summary real quick. Subsidized loans. Undergrads only. No interest till after you're done with school. 6-month grace period, then pay the man. Unsubsidized loans. Undergrads, grad students, professional school students. Interest accrues the whole time. So be ready to pay more than you signed on the dotted line for, even before you even start paying. You still have the same grace of 6 months. Still have the same grace of if you're enrolled at least half time, you don't have to make payments. That plus loan, though, if you're a parent or guardian or somebody that's supporting someone through college, that person has to pay while you're in school. So ain't no grace. Interest accrues. Be ready. Grad and professional school students, this is more like the unsubsidized loan that undergraduates get. So it's the terms and conditions are very similar to that. Once you are close to being done with school, or you're thinking about leaving school for more than 6 months, you need to think about consolidating your loans. So look at the news. Just skim through the articles. Look at the headlines. See if there's anything about student loans, because that might inform your decision about whether or not to consolidate, and it'll give you some help on, what to do about your payments. Now, one thing that we didn't mention is if you consolidate your loans, your federal student loans, then you're eligible for income-driven repayment plans. And what that means is, let's say that after you graduate, you're working a job, maybe you got kids or some other dependent, somebody that relies on you for income that can't make their own income. That's what a dependent is. They're going to look at your income, they're going to look at your dependents and your situation, and instead of making a $500 payment a month, maybe you only got to make $300. Doesn't mean that your total amount of, student loans is reduced, but it means that you get a longer period to pay them back. Now, this could be an advantage if you really need that extra money to live and breathe and eat. But the disadvantage is interest. So you're going to pay more interest because it's going to take you more time to pay back that loan. So it's just something to consider. It may be helpful, but that's, again, something you have to think about, get some real financial advice about, because I ain't no financial advisor, again. But something to consider. With that said, go get the most out of college that you can. Don't let the student loan scare you, but let it be a motivator to get all that you can from your experience. Don't let that money leave your wallet in vain. Make sure that it is something that when you look back, you're like, I got my money's worth. Make sure that that's what it is. Because you can't take it back. You can't say, oh, where's my gift receipt? These slippers ain't fit. Doesn't work that way. The government is like, look, you signed it on the dotted line. You went. You left. Now you owe us. Pay up. With that said, we're going to stop here because student loans are real. We don't want to take it out too long. We talked about it enough. Hopefully this conversation was helpful. Let me know in the comments if it was. If you have other questions or if you want to share your own financial aid story, share it in the comments below. I'd love to see what people's experiences are and what questions you have. May not be able to answer all of them, but I can certainly be like, oh, that's a good one. I don't know. So share in the comments with me. I read them. I appreciate them. If you like this content, please consider liking and subscribing. It helps. And make it a good day. I'll see you back soon. Bye.